Movie Pleasure presenting The Wall. This story is about a girl named Dai, who along with some of her animals gets imprisoned alone in an isolated area of a hill through an invisible wall, and how much trouble she goes through in her day, you will get to know in this story. So in the beginning of the story, we are shown some friends going on a trip in a car. They are going to their own lodge built on a hill which is on Eastern Alps. In that car, the main character Dai and his two friends Hugo and Louis are also there. Louis' dog Link is also with her in the car. But looking at the expression on the Dai face, it seems that he doesn't like animals much. After some time, they reach their lodge, which is completely isolated in the mountains, far away from the noise of the city. After reaching there, Hugo and Louis go to a nearby village to have a drink. He also tries hard to take Dai with him, but she gets very tired on the journey to reach here. Therefore, she thinks of staying in the lodge and taking a rest. Louis decides to leave his dog Link there along with Dai. After some time, both of them leave. Dai thinks about making some friendship with Link. She starts touching Link's back, but as Link turns towards her, Dai gets very scared because she has uncomfortable with animals. Now, slowly, it becomes night. Dai spends the night in the same lodge. As soon as the morning comes, the first thing she sees is Hugo and Louise, who had not yet come home from outside. Now he was very worried about him, so she herself goes out to search for them with Link, where she does not see anyone around. Then, while walking ahead, Link suddenly gets hurt on the mouth. When she looks at the mouth, she thinks that maybe Link hit with a stone, and starts taking Link with her, but don't know why Link was feeling scared while going ahead. Now, as soon as Dai moves a little further, she collides with something, but there is nothing there. She once again tries to go ahead, but this time she collides again. She extends her hand and looks ahead, where she realizes that there is an invisible wall which she is repeatedly hitting on the wall. She is not able to understand anything because there is no such thing as an invisible wall. She was not able to see that thing with her eyes, but was feeling it with her hands, and perhaps because of this wall, Link was afraid to go ahead. This wall was also the reason for his injury. The Dai tries hard to go ahead, but she is not able to cross that wall. Then she thinks of going ahead in the other direction, because it is possible that there may not be this wall on the other side. That is why she starts going towards the other side from there, where she goes further and sees a farm in which there is an old couple. As soon as Dai tries to go ahead towards them, she once again collides with another invisible wall. That is, this invisible wall is on every side of this hill. She calls out to the old couple, but they don't hear anything. Then Dai notices something wrong in that farm and looks at both of them very carefully, where she sees that both of them are staying in the same position for a long time. They hasn't moved a single muscle yet. It seemed as if time had stopped for both of them because everything around them was shaking except both of them. Seeing this, Dai was now starting to feel a little scared. She was gradually realizing that she was now trapped in this hilly area because there was an invisible wall on every way out from here, and there was no human being present here. Apart from this, she could go straight from there. She goes to the lodge and sleeps alone in fear at night. At night, she has a scary dream that the wall has surrounded him from all sides, and it is slowly coming to his lodge. She feels that the wall will kill him by trapping him in the lodge from all sides, but it is only a dream. After waking up in the morning, she goes back to look at the wall. She also goes to that farm, where this time, with the help of binoculars, she sees the old couple of that farmhouse, but they are still in the same position, and everything around them was moving. Dai understands that they are now dead, and then Link starts running from there in the other direction. Dai also comes far ahead chasing him, where his eyes fall on a lovely cow standing there along with the lynx, who, seeing the Dai, starts coming towards him. Dai gets very scared after seeing this thing, But the cow does not say anything to her. Rather, she starts loving her and comes forward behind the Dai. Dai also takes her with her to the lodge, which had now become her home. But for now, that cow was a misery for him, because she would have to bring grass every day to feed that cow. Until now, Dai had not done any such work in his entire life. But still, he decided to keep that cow with him, because she is very lonely, and now she has found a new friend. She names that cow Bella. That night she expresses Bella's milk, and then she also found out that she was going to give birth to a child soon. That night she fills her stomach with Bella's milk, but gradually all the food here was also getting exhausted. Next morning she thinks of crossing the wall with Hugo car. She takes the car forward at full speed and collides with the wall, due to which the front part of the car gets completely damaged, and Dai also gets hurt on his head, but that thing has no effect on that invisible wall. That wall was still there. He also sees a car parked beyond that invisible wall, but there is no one inside it. She is probably the only person left alive in this place. Disappointed, she comes back to her house and starts crying, because by now she had understood that now she will never be able to get out of here. Perverted thoughts start coming to his mind. At one point she even starts thinking about killing herself, but then she thinks of Link and his cow Bella, and if she dies, who will take care of them? Apart from him, there is no one here for both of them. With this motivation, she thinks of surviving here. Now she cuts grass for her cow Bella every day and manages her work by drinking its milk herself. By doing this, Dai spent the entire summer, meaning that she was making her living like this for the last 3 months. But now winter was about to come. Now she needed some more food to survive, so she thought of growing some vegetables there. She grows different types of vegetables in all the land in front of her lodge, which she had found from the mountains. Dai used to mark every day in the calendar, and what she did throughout the day, she also wrote those things in a book every day. Used to do. Now there was a very good bonding with his Link also. Link was a very important part of his life, and a very strong connection had developed between him and Link. One day it starts raining heavily outside. Then Dai hears someone speaking from outside. She goes outside where she sees a cat getting drenched in the rain which was sitting on her lodge. She brings that cat inside the lodge and clean it. That cat was also alone like them, hence she thinks of adopting this cat too, now including him. There were 4 people in its family, which was the support of Dai's survival in this captivity. Now Dai was also slowly learning to hunt for survival, because it will take a lot of time for the vegetables to grow, but the Dai has to face many problems while hunting. She had to get hurt many times because she had never done things like hunting before, but gradually she was getting better at it. Link was also helping him a lot in this matter, but Dai had now learned a lot of things to support her family. She used to bring grass from the forest for her cow Belle every day, and whenever she needed food for herself, she would pick up her gun and go hunting. One day, while hunting, she finds a truck parked there, which she used to see coming and going every day. But today she sees him standing a little ahead. A hope arises in her mind that maybe there is someone else here besides him, and maybe he get him out from here. But as soon as she moves forward to see this thing, she again collides with that invisible wall. All her hopes were shattered. She starts going back disappointed, but then she finds another house visible on the nearby hill. She looks inside that house through binoculars, but there is no one inside it either. She goes and sits near that house because the view there was very beautiful. A light breeze was blowing, due to which Dai falls asleep there. Link was also feeling good there with her, but when she wakes up, she is very sad. It was already night, and she went back to her house where she saw that her cat had given birth to a baby who was as white and cute as snow. She names him Pearl. Dai knew that winter is just around the corner, so she thoroughly cuts it off the grass in front of his lodge, which takes many days. And she also gets blisters on her hands, but now she had learned to live this kind of life. Now she was not the same person who had come here with her friends in the beginning. The troubles had completely changed her. Now she is here. She was completely acclimated to the climate of the city. While doing this, it had been 6 months here and winter had also arrived. There was snow everywhere outside. All the mountains were covered with snow. Then she go out for hunting. After returning home, she finds that her kitten has gone out of the house in such cold weather. Dai starts worrying about him because he will not be able to survive for long in such cold. So she goes out to search for him, but after walking some distance, she finds him dead, seeing which she starts crying and buries him there. He feels very sad about his death. After burying it, she goes straight home and writes down all her thoughts on a book like she does every day. Days pass. The situation was changing every day, but she never stopped checking that magical wall. She used to check that wall every day. She had completely forgotten the outside world and people. Then another new member comes into his life. The next day, his cow Bella gives birth to a baby girl who is just as lovely as him. After Pearl's departure from Dai's life, now the new member filled her void. Now it has been a full year since he stayed at this place, and summer is about to come again. To cheer herself and her pets up, she takes them to the hill house where she went with Link, and they loved it there. She reaches that hill house with her entire family of animals. The place is still as beautiful as it used to be. The weather there was very pleasant. A light breeze was blowing, and Dai decided to stay there that night. At night, the sky there was filled with stars. It seemed as if the sky was celebrating something. It felt a different peace there. She goes back to her lodge and writes down this whole experience in her books like every day. Right now, she had completely learned to live here. She had completely changed after adjusting to this environment. Now only her pets were important to her, in which she was most fond of Link because he became the supported of Dai loneliness at that time when she was completely alone. The days were passing very quickly. Summer has just passed and autumn is coming again. And after some time, cold was about to come again. So Dai had completed his food and his wooden so that he and his animals would not face any problem in the cold. One day, a cold wind is blowing outside. From her lodge window, Dai sees a white crow sitting alone on a tree outside. Seeing it, Dai understands that perhaps the crows accompanying it must have given up living with it because its color is different from everyone else. Dai understands its loneliness because it knows what is called being alone in life. She also brings that crow with her. Similarly, time passes and 1 year passes again, and she returns to the house on the same hill to spend some time with her animals. She takes him there, but this time she doesn't like it there at all. That place was still the same as it used to be before, but Dai had now tired of this imprisoned and heavy life, so everything seemed useless to her. But she could not do anything about it because it was her compulsion to live like this. She does not like this hill at all, so she takes her animals from here and goes back to her lodge. Now she has been living here for 3 whole years. One day, Dai comes back from hunting with his dog, Link. Then she feels that maybe her cow's calf is screaming. She immediately goes towards it, and then she sees a man killing her cow's calf with an axe. Dai screams very loudly after seeing him, but the man does not stop. Link also tries to stop that man. Dai does not understand anything. She immediately runs from there towards the launch and brings her gun from there, but there was a slight delay in her arrival, because in the meanwhile, that man had also killed Link. Seeing that scene, Dai puts the bullet in the man's chest without thinking, due to which that man also dies. Dai then throws the dead body of that man down the hill and, while crying, buries its Link and the calf there. Now only Bela was left in his family. Now only Bella was left in his family. She returns to her house with Bella and writes down her sorrows on the last paper of her book. At one point, she even thinks of dying, but because of Bella, she is unable to do so. She now thinks of spending her life here with him. Now who knows whether the die will ever come out from here or not, with which this film ends here. I know that this story is a bit complicated, but if we understand it in simple words, then inside this story, we have been shown an invisible wall, coming inside which is in our control, but going out from there is not in anyone's control. That's why first there came Di and Link, after which came Bella and the cat who completed Di family, but that man came and broke his family again. This was Di's story, but if you ever find yourself in such a situation, then what will you do? Please let us know by commenting in the comment box. For now, that's all in today's video. If you liked it, then do like and share it. Because as always, we will meet you with another new interesting story. But till then, thanks for watching.